If you have ever lost a great candidate halfway through a recruitment process or wondered why a competitor seems to hire better talent, this session is going to change that for you. I'm going to walk you through the exact recruitment process that I use to hire the top 1% of marketing, digital, and e-com talent for fast-growing beauty and fashion brands. This is the same process that lands my clients high-performing, passive candidates that most job ads never reach. And today, I'm giving it to you for free. If you're a founder or business leader doing too much yourself, if you're scaling fast and can't afford another bad hire, or if you are tired of feeling like hiring is a gamble, this is for you. Strong candidates don't just want a job, they want a process that makes them feel valued and a process that respects their time. This is called candidate experience, and that experience aligns directly to your brand and your brand perception. When you understand how to manage that journey well, you stop losing the candidates you actually want, and you start building a team that truly moves the needle. Throughout this session, I'm going to show you each stage of my recruitment framework, exactly how I headhunt, assess, shortlist, and manage elite candidates, and how you can replicate this inside your brand immediately. And if you find yourself thinking, God, this is exactly what we need now, but we don't have time to run it properly, just hold that thought for now. Let's get into it. So how do we hire the top 1%? Today, I'm going to show you how to quickly go from 0 candidates to hired. Here's a thorough process that we use to find and nurture talent so that we can get through the process quickly and maintain candidate engagement. It covers the end-to-end 360-degree recruitment process from role scoping to onboarding. Every single step in this process is going to help you maintain continuity without overwhelm whilst ensuring a positive candidate experience. Many hiring processes do not consider the candidate engagement. Any delay in any of these steps will result in losing candidates. If you like the template that I've shared, DM me the word process and I'll send it over. Now, I want to show you some hiring processes that I live by and that you should live by too. So first of all, you must keep talent engaged and excited for a successful campaign that actually gets results. Anyone who is not suited, reject them as soon as you know you are not proceeding. It just keeps the process clean for you and it keeps it respectful to the candidates. Keep your maybes in a separate folder, but tell them what's going on. So for example, you're great, but we do have stronger candidates that we're going to see first. And keep them warm. Do not forget about them and always keep them updated. For talent you are proceeding with, you have to really sell them the opportunity. They're exchanging their time and a lot of it for something that you need. Do not run a one-way recruitment process because this will hurt your brand. Candidates are interviewing for brands just as much as brands are interviewing them. The job description is the most important part of the recruitment process. Everyone included on the hiring decisions needs to be on final approval of that JD. If not, this can completely undo the success of the entire recruitment campaign because the PD is the cornerstone of everything else that follows after that. So job ads, screening, shortlisting, interviews, offer, onboarding. Without it, I guarantee that you will absolutely fail at a successful hire. The PD should include the role purpose, role responsibilities, skills and knowledge required for the role, qualifications required for the role, success metrics, so reasonably achievable outcomes, and team structure, so can really build that picture around those reporting lines. You should start the PD by thinking about the outcomes you want from this hire first, not the tasks first. and then you work backwards from there. So for example, if you have a key role that's tied to revenue, you might want to see how revenue has grown through a percentage or volume. It could be campaign velocity has improved, engagement increased across Instagram and TikTok, or the founder may be no longer doing X, Y, and Z, or team capability has lifted. This anchors the scope in impact, not activity. The biggest mistake when writing a PD is that it describes everything the business needs. Instead, the PD should successfully define what the role is accountable for. And if you have too many criterias, you will struggle to find someone. You don't want a jack of all trades and a master of none. This is exactly how you don't scale a business. Next is sourcing talent. So there's two ways that you can go about doing this. You can advertise your role and you can do a proactive search, which is usually done by a recruiter. Or if you want to look at all options in the market, you can do both. Some of my clients like to do both. So advertising sounds really easy, and it usually is. If you're in a hurry, you throw something up without thinking about who you're actually trying to reach. But you need to write your job ad so that it speaks to the particular demographic that you are trying to target. You don't want volume, you want quality. In my experience, many hiring managers experience FOMO. So that's wanting to see more resumes, when in reality, you need fewer, higher quality candidates. And when I see FOMO happen is when a proper targeted search has not been conducted. Think of it this way, it's exactly like your customer acquisition. You don't want volume, you want qualified conversions that result in outcomes. So for you, it could be paying customers. When writing your job ad, have the PD next to you and ask yourself, what are we looking for? What does our environment need? So how does that person fit into the environment? Is it administrative, executional, or strategic? What does the team culture look like and feel like, and what fits in that? Is there professional development or mentorship for this person? What does success look like in the role? And I strongly encourage you to include your brand story or founder story, even if it's a link. This is going to elevate how you show up in the market to candidates. Because the top 1% want to work with ambitious and bold brands. Now, if you're thinking, I don't have time to run this properly, that's normal. That's literally why brands come to us. It's important for me to note that when you do advertise to job boards, you are only reaching 20 to 30% of the talent market. That brings us to the second option. Next is proactive headhunting or proactive search. This is where we add real value by accessing a passive pool of candidates that will not be applying to jobs. In my experience, this is where the best candidates are. They're busy working for brands doing exactly what you're hiring for. And that makes up 70% of the talent market, particularly senior talent. They are staying with brands longer, which makes passive search matter even more in 2026. We only headhunt. We undertake several search iterations via a multi-channel approach. We approach talent in the market with an intentional strategy tailored to each unique business and role. And that brings us to one of the most important parts of recruitment, which is follow-up. If you are not hearing back from your candidates, follow up more than once. That's email, phone, text, whatever it takes to speak to the most suited candidate. And then is recruitment and selection. So when applications start coming in, start screening them immediately. Do not wait. Good talent does not wait. Exceptional talent does not wait. And brands that decide to hire faster, they do win better talent. You should have a phone screening document and an interview guide prepared aligned to the key selection criteria. These questions relate to housekeeping questions, so salary, notice period, visa status, holidays booked. Then motivations, so understanding career and role motivations tied directly to the role you're recruiting for. Relevant experience, of course, and then 2 to 3 behavioral questions using the STAR methodology. Now, the STAR methodology is a predictor of future performance based on past experiences. If you want more insights into the STAR methodology, DM me the word STAR and I'll send it to you. You also want to confirm technical experience. So that could look like creative tools, project management tools, social tools, email marketing tools, analytics tools, etc. And finally, confirming qualifications. The best candidates are then shortlisted and progressed. And this is where volume really matters because you already have that quality. I work backwards from the hire start date and design a funnel that is intentional. So I run a typical funnel that sits around a 30 to 50% conversion rate. So for one hire, you want about 2 to 3 final interviews, 6 to 8 first round interviews, 12 to 18 phone screens, and 50 to 80 applicants or sourced profiles. Sometimes it only takes one candidate and that's great, but you want to manage risk and maintain options. This is the approach that I recommend. I also only recommend a second or third round interview for a strategic, creative, leadership or growth focused role. Entry-level roles do not need a dragged out process. It should be one interview. Best practice is 2 to 3 interviewers per panel. 4 or more is not a good candidate experience, and it usually indicates that there are too many decision makers. Only confusion comes from this, and I do not recommend more than 3 people on an interview panel. Your interview guide should be an elevated version of your phone screening document and be structured for scoring. Comment interview guide and I'll share you an example. There are a few clear red flags I want you to pay very close attention to. These are signs that something in your process needs to be adjusted. So if there's misalignment between the PD job advertisement and who's showing up at interview, usually means the role hasn't been scoped properly or the sourcing strategy isn't targeting the right market. Another big red flag is decision-making dragging past 3 to 4 days. This is one of the fastest ways to lose strong candidates, and it signals a lack of clarity internally. This will hurt your talent pipeline and the work that you've done if the decision-making is left too long. Another red flag is multiple interviewers wanting different things. This tells me alignment hasn't been achieved up front internally. Candidates will feel the confusion and they will see it immediately, and they will lose trust and interest very fast. When salary expectations suddenly shift mid-process, this often indicates that the role has been misleveled or the market reality wasn't properly understood from the start. This small shift means starting from the beginning, as it's a completely different candidate that you would be looking for. This is why it's so important to get it right from day one. Another red flag is that you've interviewed several people who meet the brief, but you still can't decide. This is a very strong signal that your expectations are misaligned with the reality of the market, not that the talent isn't good enough. After the strongest candidate is identified, move to reference checking quickly. You should have a policy that outlines reference checking expectations. It also keeps the candidate within professional boundaries when choosing a suitable reference. Our reference checking policy is 2 professional references the candidate reported to in the last 3 years. It's very simple but highly effective. After successful reference checks, move to offer. Now, when it comes to onboarding and to ensure a positive candidate experience, I always suggest sharing any relevant information before the candidate starts. It allows them to mentally and physically prepare for the role. It's the first 90 days where mishires actually surface, not in the interview. So you want to make sure that you have given as much support and information to set them up for success. Hiring doesn't finish when a contract is signed. You want to provide clear expectations, set the tone for expectations early, and ensure time and space has been allocated for feedback loops to ensure momentum is protected. If you want an onboarding checklist, comment the word onboarding. If this feels like a lot to manage, it's because it is. This is exactly what we do for our clients. It's exactly what we do for brands when we run a headhunting end-to-end search. I can tell you that if you implement this process, you will notice the change immediately, you will see better candidates, and you will make faster hiring decisions. A tight, human, well-managed recruitment process is one of the most powerful growth levers inside an e-com brand. But if you're thinking, I want this done properly and I don't have the bandwidth to run it internally, that's exactly what we do at Alt Recruitment. If you want help finding elite talent or diagnosing your hiring bottlenecks, DM me the word talent and tell me what's going on inside your team. We've covered a lot today. Let me know in the comments what you most valued, or if you'd like me to break something down into further detail. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.